Can California really go red? Well, based on the results of the 2024 election, we have a path to actually return California to a balanced political state. Coming up, I'll tell you what Reform California, our movement, plans to do leading up to the 2026 elections to win, to build on our successes in 2024, and what you can do to join the fight. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and the votes are still being counted in the 2024 election here in California. But one thing is very clear. The state is moving to the center and the center right. Overwhelmingly, the results show that. And it would have been a lot better had we had a California Republican Party that was actually in a good condition to fight. We did not have good leadership by the California Republican Party. And a lot of these elected officials sat on their hands on the right in California rather than fighting. We had a number of good candidates, many of whom are successful, some who fell a little short. And they worked their tails off with the grassroots. The credit to the 2024 successes in California are grassroots activists that are just taking matters into their own hands to move the ball forward. But what I'm going to lay out right here is a battle plan for 2026. And it's building on our successes in 2024. And we're going to need your help to make that plan a reality. Because in 2026, we're either going to see the state move farther to the center and center right, building on the good successes we've seen in 2024 and the momentum that we are starting to achieve. Or we're going to see California lurch back to the left. Like 2018, the midterm election, right after Trump was first elected in 2016, where California, it went completely blue on so many levels. That's where the Republicans were shoved into the super minority. And that's where we lost a bunch of congressional seats. And that contributed, obviously, to the loss of the U.S. House of Representatives majority that year as well. So I don't want 2026 to turn out to be like 2018. I want 2026 to be a much more pronounced 2024 shift to the center and the center right. Let me share with you some of the numbers that we're looking at in 2024. Take a look at this slide. This is the presidential election. Trump at 39%, a big boost from his numbers in 2020, where he only got 34% of the vote. But he shifted now 9 counties at last count, 9 counties over to the red column. And it shows that those counties shifting to the right also had an impact on lower level races. When you take a look at the congressional races, you can thank California Republicans for the House majority staying in the hands of the Republicans. And there are a number of seats that California Republicans could have won, but they didn't really invest any money in those seats. There are 4 seats that they could have won that they're so close to. In the state assembly, it looks like there are seats that are going to be picked up, and there are 5 seats that could have been easily won had we just resourced those candidates a bit more. The Republican Party gave them no resources. There are 16 seats in the state assembly that can be flipped. 16. With the right candidates and the right effort. Take a look at the propositions. Here is Prop 36, make crime illegal again. 70% vote, 69.5, but rounded up, 70% to 30%. Every single county, even in San Francisco, for God's sakes, they voted to make crime illegal again. Take a look at that map. Prop 36, those are conservative ideas. Those are our ideas. When our ideas are on the ballot without the Republican label, we win overwhelmingly. And there's a little bit about the seats that we were flipping. The seats are working class seats. They are majority Latino seats in a lot of cases. They are heavily Democrat on paper, But these are seats that are razor thin margins that we can flip and have been flipping. That should tell us something about the hunger, the appetite for Californians for change, not just the left side, left wing politics that we currently see. So we have a plan at Reform California that we've been executing since we started this movement back in 2016. At the end of 2016 into 2017 is when we started the Reform California movement statewide. And boy, we've been working it. We broke the supermajority in 2017. Right out of the gate, our movement did a recall against State Senator Josh Newman and broke the supermajority in the state Senate. Then 2018 came around and Republicans, they crapped the sheets. Ineptitude, incompetence, lack of willingness to fight. Yes, it was a bad environment, but we had our gas tax repeal initiative on the ballot that year that had the Republican establishment backed us on that, we would have not only repealed the gas tax, even despite the dishonest ballot title that was put on it, but we would have been able to save a lot of seats in California in the process. Now that we look after several cycles of our Reform California movement, we have seen that we can pick up seats. And it's not the Republican Party of California that's been helping. It's been you, the grassroots activists, grassroots volunteers and contributors to our movement. If you haven't been part of our movement, check out the website reformcalifornia.org. That's reformcalifornia.org. Sign up at the bottom to get updates because we update people on all sorts of campaigns. Let me take you to the website right now because I'm going to talk about some of our strategies for 2026. But this website really is our ground zero, our hub of information. Not only do you have all of our campaigns that we have underway, Stop the Tax Hikes, Voter ID with our Election Integrity Initiative, helping specific candidates through flipping target seats, school board reform, restoring public safety, which was our Prop 36 efforts, ending homelessness, stopping various other bad policies like we need the gas tax repeal, mileage tax, pension reform, repealing AB5, cutting politicians' perks, getting people their money back, not having them to contribute to unions, stopping the natural gas appliance ban, changing the ballot titles so they're honest and written not by politicians but nonpartisan entities, blocking utility rate hikes, keeping housing decisions local rather than having Sacramento putting homeless shelters in your backyard, securing the border. Yes. And bringing down Gavin Newsom and making sure that he never can run for president and get in the Oval Office. These and other campaigns are active at Reform California with specific strategies and tactics to move the needle. Plus, remember, we have all sorts of news that we post. Each week, we come out with a brand new news article on various topics that people are interested in sharing with their friends because it's not like the liberal media is going to give you the truth. Plus, this show, all the episodes of this show are available not only on demand through your various on-demand apps like YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, and Pandora, but we have all of our show episodes on our site so that you can share individual topics with your friends. It's not like the liberal media will give them a true accounting of what's going on in California. But let me tell you what our strategies are for the 2026 election and invite you to be part of our campaign plan. We already have our strategic plan for 2026. It's simply a update of our 2024 plan that was very successful in making inroads in a lot of these seats. But we have 6 major strategies. Number 1, the reform agenda. You cannot take back a state unless you have great ideas. And your ideas can't be, we won't rock the boat. We're Republicans, but we're going to be Democrat light. And of course, you can't take back a state if you're silent. You got to take back the state with ideas. When we put Prop 36 on the ballot, that was an example of the reform agenda. Make crime illegal again. Wow, what a concept. Here's another example of our reform agenda. Let's not have tax increases that are put into our utility bills or applied to our gas prices that unelected bureaucrats are allowed to impose upon us. So the California Taxpayer Protection Initiative is part of our reform agenda, which is people should be able to vote on all tax increases. Unelected bureaucrats should not be able to raise our taxes. We shouldn't have a mileage tax. We shouldn't have all these hidden illegal taxes on our utility rates that cause us to have a doubling of the price of utilities. That when a tax increase is on the ballot, it should have an honest ballot title. But not only that, California voter ID is part of our reform agenda, that people should have trust and confidence that the elections are done with integrity and that whoever wins is actually the winner. That we should have a secure the border initiative to repeal the sanctuary state law and cut off the welfare to illegal immigrants. The parents' right to know, that parents should have a right to know what's going on with their children, and they should have a voice in the curriculum. And that if a school is failing, that parents should be able to take the dollars through the form of a voucher to put their child in a school of their choice, public, private, religious, homeschooling. Give parents real empowerment through education choice. How about on homelessness? We should allow all organizations to apply for the grants and the contracts on the homeless funding. $24 billion of homeless funding. And yet, if you are a homeless service provider that has a faith-based model or decides that you're going to do drug tests or enforce rules for mental health and substance abuse treatment, you're ineligible for any money from the state of California or local government for homelessness. That is insane. Our best homeless providers are the ones that are not even getting any government money. They're supported by private charitable contributions. Why aren't we supporting programs that work? Why are we funding failure? When I talk about the reform agenda, these are just a sampling of the ideas that we need to put on the ballot in 2026 so that our candidates can run for something that's very popular and tie themselves to it, and then tie their opponents to the opposition of those good policies. Second, we need better candidates who will fight. Some of the candidates that the Republican Party backs are milquetoast at best. They're lazy. They're not trained properly. And when they sometimes get elected, they sell out. We need better candidates who are principled, who will work hard and will fight if they get into the office that we've put them up for. So we are going to have a whole candidate recruitment effort, and we've been doing that very successfully. A lot of our candidates we've been recruiting for school boards, and we've been very successful there. But we need candidates up and down the state of California for every seat. No free ride. No seat should go uncontested. When people say, well, I'm not qualified to be a candidate. If you are truthful, if you have integrity, you are infinitely more qualified than the idiot Democrat that's in that seat right now. So we have our candidate recruitment academy. I'm going to share with you how you sign up as a candidate in just a moment. Third, the voters in California won't change until we tell them the truth. And they're not getting the truth from the liberal media. That's why Reform California is investing a lot in our digital news media programs. This show is one of those investments. Every day I post a new episode, and you see the numbers. We're getting 2 million unique views on this show per week, which reminds me, many of you are not subscribed to this channel. Please hit that subscription button right now so that you know when we post new episodes every day at 5 o'clock, and that you can get it on demand at that point. Click the subscription button. It's free. It helps us spread the word and break through the algorithm that Google has applied to conservative news. But we also have our newsletters that we send out so that you can share those news stories that I just talked about with your friends and family. Sign up at reformcalifornia.org to get the newsletter. It's at the bottom of the site. All you have to do is put in your first name, your last name, your zip code, email, and your phone, and we will send you on Friday morning at 9 a.m. the weekly wrap, which contains all sorts of news about what's going on in California politics and on the issues that you care about without the liberal media bias. And by the way, we're going to be working with other content providers across the state, conservatives who can do their own podcasts and host their own community news sites. Fourth, It is overwhelmingly clear that Latino voters are absolutely leaving the Democrat Party and they are wanting to have a new home. That's why we started our California Latino Voter Alliance, along with a Spanish language news program, as well as a Spanish translated voter guide in the elections. We also need to recruit good Latino candidates in those areas where we have a majority Latino population. And really start building relationships with these voters. These voters are conservative. These voters may be registered Democrat, but they're willing to vote Republican if we reach them, if we reach out to them and give them a warm welcome to our conservative movement. Fifth, we've got to turn out our vote in 2026, which means I need you to be a precinct captain. I need you to be a volunteer. I will give you a list of Republicans in your neighborhood in the primary in 2026 and in the general election who have not returned their ballot yet. I don't want you to walk every home. If you knock on the Democrat doors, I don't want them to be reminded that there's an election. Shh, keep it quiet. I also know that the best way to get an election to go our way is to produce a bigger turnout for our voters than the other side. Turnout is everything in these elections, and that's why ballot harvesting. You can harvest a ballot just by knocking on a door. You don't have to take the ballot. I consider you harvesting a ballot if you convince someone to vote that ordinarily would not vote. I need to give you the list. And so we have an app at Reform California where we can give you a list of 10 voters in your neighborhood, and you can just drive them to their home. You don't have to walk to their home. Just drive their home, knock on the door, give them the voter guide, and encourage them to vote. And yes, we have to get my California Voter ID initiative passed so that we can restore election integrity. But we have other programs for election integrity that have been working quite well to weed out ineligible registrations, as well as hold the process accountable for following the rules. Finally, we have to raise the resources to do all of the above, to actually compete in these target seats in 2026. The Democrats have free media from the liberal media, and they also have all that dark money from billionaire leftists and all the lobbyists. And we're not going to be able to get that money, but we can raise money little bit time after time. I'm urging you today just to sign up as a monthly contributor at reformcalifornia.org. Go to reformcalifornia.org and sign up as a monthly contributor. If it's only $25 a month, great. $5 a month, fine. $100, whatever you can do. Because the monthly contributions give us that ability to then create the war chest. And knowing that those monthly contributions are coming in, we can make these early investments in candidate recruitment, in getting a precinct organization set up, stood up in a target seat. Democrats have money 365 days a year. We need the resources to be able to have a longer term horizon of 6 to 12 to 18 months in each of these seats. Give us an opportunity to take back this state for you. Be part of that movement to take back this state for all of us. Go online right now and chip in a contribution. And yes, resources are not just financial. Sign up to be a volunteer, because we do have a weekly volunteer email that we send out and let people know what they can do in their area. And you don't have to volunteer every week. You can volunteer once every 6 months, once every 3 months, once a month, whatever you can do. Be part of that resource base of human capital in addition to the financial capital we're trying to raise. Again, go onto that website, reformcalifornia.org, and you can click under contribute. That button's right at the top. You can click under volunteer. That's also at the top of the website. And remember, sign up at the bottom. If you're not on our list, you're not going to get the updates. Sign up at the bottom of that website to be part of this movement. That's our plan for how you can be part of this movement as we go to 2026. I also want to point out that if you are a candidate, the best way for you to be part of our candidate recruitment program is to go online and sign up as a volunteer. And then when you get that first volunteer email from me, say, I want to be a candidate. I want to be a candidate. Here's also a link at the bottom to campaign support. I was searching for it. Campaign support. If you want help with your campaign, if you're interested in being a candidate, to start a campaign potentially, to consider doing it, on that website, go to that link at the bottom of the page, campaign support, and send us your contact information, and we will be in touch with you to see if there's a feasible path for you to be in office and to see if there's an available seat in your area. This is our help for reformers that we offer. Look, we can take back this state. You just need to get involved. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and incoming State Assembly member. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.